Mexico is incredibly special. It has an incredible variety of habitats in very short distances, and it's just, to me, it's where my heart is. I never want to leave here. It's very special to me. They call it the land of enchantment, and I am completely enchanted by it. I'm Mary Catherine Ray. I'm Wildlife Chair of the Rio Grande chapter of the Sierra Club. We live in a remote area where trapping is not uncommon. My dog Greta was caught in a trap this past winter, and it was a terrible experience. Greta and I were walking on the National Forest. I knew immediately what had happened. She jumped in the air. People describe their dog as screaming when the dog is trapped, and that's exactly what it's like. It was screaming. Oh, Greta! Oh my God! Greta! Greta! Most people don't even realize it's still legal. It's shocking for people to learn when their dog gets caught that this is something that is even a possibility. I love going out in the forest, but it does make you think twice.
Trapping is hardly regulated at all. My girlfriend and I go walking up that trail all the time, and we bring Sophie, who is a 3-year-old lab mix who loves the world. But since trapping isn't regulated, there could be traps out there. This is public land. I pay my federal taxpayer dollars. That's my land. That's every taxpayer's land, and we should all have the ability to come out and enjoy the land that we own and that we pay taxes to maintain without feeling like our lives or our pets' lives are in danger.
Trapping does not have a place in New Mexico, and especially not on public or state lands. One of these days, I want this thing just to be an item in a museum. It's archaic, it's barbaric, and it has no place in this society.
It's an agonizing death because it doesn't kill them. They don't want to hurt the fur, and it's not unusual to come back to a gnawed-off leg. It's a pretty brutal way to exit this life. I'm a hunter. A hunter knows exactly what they're going for. I mean, that's the clear difference. That's where my conflict with the traps comes. It's just the indiscriminate setting of them.
This is a grisly discovery that we made while out hiking. It's a bobcat carcass that obviously died in a leg hold trap, but it looks to me like it suffered a horrible and grisly death. There's actually no way to know how many this happens to. They can catch any animal, not just bobcats or foxes, but porcupines, birds of prey, roadrunners, anything. Any animal whose feet touch the ground are vulnerable to traps. This past winter, 3 Mexican wolves, one of the most highly endangered species of canine in the world, were actually caught in traps. One of them was injured so badly that she wound up losing her entire leg. It's not just private trappers and agricultural interests who are killing wildlife, but there's a rogue agency called Wildlife Services that just this past year killed 1.3 million native wildlife animals using our tax dollars to do it.
I first learned about Wildlife Services back when they had a different name, Animal Damage Control, which at least was more in line with their attitudes and actual mission as an agency.
Now we know it as Wildlife Services. It sounds good, but they're an industry that is beholden to the cattle industry to remove predators from public land.
In 2016, approximately $116 million worth of tax money was spent to kill wildlife.
Wildlife Services, in addition to setting leg hold traps and snares, sets M44 poison devices. They are basically a spring-loaded device that when an animal pulls on it, a cyanide dose will shoot into the animal's mouth. M44s kill domestic dogs every year. I actually know someone who pulled the trigger of one and it went off in his hand, and he says he's alive today because the wind was blowing the right direction.
They didn't ask us, but yet they're using our tax money to buy snares, to buy traps, to hire pilots to do aerial gunning, to shoot wildlife.
There was a morning where we woke up and heard a helicopter flying really low over our house, and there was periodic gunfire. And it turned out that our neighbor had complained about marauding coyotes eating his chickens. Wildlife Services spent 5 hours of helicopter time, heaven knows how many thousands of dollars, to protect probably $100 worth of chickens. In those 5 hours, they killed 24 coyotes, but the coyote marauding the chickens was not among them. The way they target carnivores, especially coyotes, is completely senseless in our modern scientific view. The evidence doesn't support what they do.
The science shows that predator populations do not have to be managed. And when they are managed, things go wrong. When we remove a predator anywhere, biodiversity crashes.
It doesn't work to prevent future conflicts.
When you find out that the science doesn't back up that this has any sort of effect on protecting livestock, which is what they're saying that they're trying to do, it just goes back to, it seems like we enjoy just killing for the sake of killing. And I don't think that's who the majority of people are and the values that they have.
We're stewards and we should be smarter. We have the tools and we have the mental capacity.
If anything, our tax dollars should be going to providing livestock operators with assistance if they need it to avoid situations that require lethal control.
This isn't working. It's barbaric, it's a waste of taxpayer money, and we can do better, and that's what we should be trying to do.
This place evolved with wild animals, and it's up to us to make sure that every part stays. We live in a world that's so urbanized and so separate from nature that this still exists, that there are places where you can go and have a chance encounter with a wild animal. I hope that future generations can experience what we have today.